Hi, welcome back. I'm out at the farm in North Dakota. These are some of my mom's flowers. But we're talking about something that's very important. And that is, we're going to be talking about one of the legacy busters. One of the things that I hate to admit and talk about is my sin, my failures. I prefer to avoid a good look at my own heart because what I see when I look at my own heart is stuff that I don't appreciate. But that's what we're doing in this series called The Legacy. This is week 3 of looking inside of the 3 enemies of faith. These enemies can destroy the legacy that we pass on to our families and to our children. That's why we're calling these the legacy busters. So I'm going to go back to 1 John chapter 2, verses 15 and 16 again. Because it reminds us, do not love the world or the things of the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the boastful pride of life, is not from the Father, but it's from the world. Well, our first enemy of the faith is the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, but our second enemy is the lust of our eyes. Today we're going to take a look at the boastful pride of life. We lust after that brand new Harley, that beautiful home, or that lovely lady. In the lust of the eyes, you've got to have it. Then when you get it, what do you got to do? You got to strut your stuff. You're filled with pride. And this is our third enemy, the boastful pride of life. Some time ago, in one of the cities that I grew up close to, a neighbor was caught measuring the length of the largest house in town. He was doing it in the middle of the night because he wanted to have his house 1 foot longer. Well, guess what that is? That's the pride of life. Have you ever sat down in a barber shop where all the walls were covered with mirrors so you could see yourself from every direction, reflected from every angle? Well, in a sense, this is the pride of life. A millionfold reflection of myself. I, everywhere. But what's the middle letter in the word pride? I. It's I. Guys, I think we don't want to admit it, but we oftentimes have the I problem. I know that I do. So think of these things. Do you have to tell people about your latest purchase? Do you always have to have your opinion given at a meeting and try to impress them with your experience and knowledge? Do you put others down to make yourself look better? I think we've all fallen guilty to that. But listen to this quote. From the beginning of time, people have tried to outdo one another in their spending and their getting. The boastful pride of life motivates much of what people do. We want to impress others. We want people to think we're affluent, we're successful. If my reputation or my public image matters more to me than the glory of God or the well-being of others, the pride of life has become the object of my worship. Our pride of life is reflected in whatever status symbols that are important to us. When we identify ourselves in terms of degrees or annual income, cars, or the size of our home, the neighborhood where we live, we're falling prey to the pride of life. Satan wants us to find our identity in anything other than our relationship with God. And when he succeeds in this manner, our hearts seek value in things that can never sustain us. That's a powerful quote. But let's admit this, no Christian becomes worldly all of a sudden. Worldliness is a gradual process. It's a slow fading. First we kind of seek friendship with the world, then we become spotted by the world, and then the world leaves its mark on us in 1 or 2 areas of life. And then finally, we become accustomed to building ourselves up. Listen to the rest of this verse of 1 John chapter 2, verse 17. It says, these lusts are not from the Father, but are from the world. And the world is passing away, and also its lusts. Guys, this world is a lousy, lousy investment. The monetary lust and pleasure is going to disappear and it's going to be destroyed. And it's a poor substitute for all that God has planned for you. Life is a gift to you from God, and He loves you and wants you to be focusing on Him. He has an amazing plan for you. Listen to the rest of 1 John 2:17. But the one who does the will of God continues to live forever. This past week has been kind of interesting. Last Wednesday night, our family gathered up in a hospital room up in Fargo, North Dakota with my mom. And my mom was promoted to her heavenly home. Right now, she's walking on the streets of gold with a mansion. And one thing about my mom, she invested in the lives of her family, her Sunday school kids, and many others. It's amazing how many people have been emailing and calling us and telling us about the impact that she had on their lives. And right now, she's living forever. Because he who does the will of the Father, he who does the will of God, passes on a godly legacy to his or her descendants. And that is what my mom did. Think about that. Think about that.